My name is Taryn VanThof, and you're listening to Pro Lacrosse Talk.
My name is Taylor VanThof, and you're listening to Pro Lacrosse Talk.
On driver. Sidearm whip. Scores. Now it's one. Fidel scores. Hands off for Rabel. Switches hands and scores.
Kylie O'Miller showing off those shifty skills.
Right off the bat, there's Lyle Thompson.
Welcome to Pro Lacrosse Talk, the voice of Pro Lacrosse. I'm Hutton, he's Adam. Together we're bringing you interviews with your favorite players and coaches, as well as news from all 4 professional lacrosse leagues. Welcome to another episode of Pro Lacrosse Talk. We are here with sisters Taryn and Taylor VanThof, both former Loyola Greyhounds and now current WPLL Command midfielders. Taryn and Taylor, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
So you both are natives of upstate New York. Tell me when you first got into lacrosse and what helped you fall in love with the game.
So we grew up about 45 minutes south of Rochester in a small town. I wouldn't consider us a lacrosse town at all. I actually started playing second grade, playing men's lacrosse, and I played men's from second until 7th, until finally junior varsity came around and I got to play on a women's team. It was just kind of something to do. I mean, we played a lot of sports growing up, so it was more so just getting involved with anything and everything. But then it kind of took off as we got into high school.
Yeah, so growing up, once we did get into high school, we had the opportunity to we both played for the same club team, Lady Rock, which is now dissolved, sadly. But that was an awesome program that really helped us and pushed us into the collegiate side of lacrosse.
No, that's great.
And then speaking of the college side, you both ended up at Loyola at different times. Taryn, while you were there, you set the single season record and career records for draw controls while you were at Loyola. And then Taylor, you broke those records and added the single game record for good measure. So what was it like breaking your sister's record, and what was that experience like at Loyola?
The records, it was never something that I planned on doing. I had the intention of going into school and playing lacrosse at Loyola and getting the experience that Taryn got in a sense of family and enjoyment. It definitely wasn't to go there and break Taryn's record, but overall my experience at Loyola was incredible.
And what about you, Taryn? What kind of drew you to Loyola, all the way from upstate New York down to Baltimore?
I think that was exactly it. Being from upstate New York, just a different style, different pace of life, and coming into the city and seeing something totally different really intrigued me. And then, just sitting down and having conversations with Jen and Dana, it was a pretty easy yes.
No, that's awesome. And can you touch on a little bit too, Jen Adams is the commissioner of the WPLL, and then Dana is, obviously plays with the WPLL Brave, and, they were your coaches while at Loyola. How's your relationship with them kind of grown from your time at Loyola and then over the years as both professionals?
I can't even, it's hard to put into words, really. It started as a player and a coach, and it turned into a mentor and then to a friend. They've really pushed me to be my very best and really given me a whole lot of confidence through that. I still talk to them on the regular, whether it's about lacrosse or just life in general, but it's been pretty awesome that Jen's kind of always been a part of it, and then obviously now Dana being a rival with the Brave.
Yeah, just going off of that, it's pretty incredible that Taryn and I both were at Loyola for a total of 9 years, and we had Jen and Dana there that whole entire time. That's something that doesn't happen very often, and I think it's something really special that both we got to experience, and Jen and Dana did as well, getting sisters to come through. But yeah, Jen and Dana, they're awesome people, and they have taught us just so much about lacrosse and ourselves, and they're always pushing us to be good, solid people in and outside of lacrosse.
No, that's great. That's great that you guys have such a great relationship and can kind of continue that a little bit in your professional careers.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they got a big win the other day against Hopkins. They really routed them, huh?
Yeah, they did. They did.
I actually run the shot clock at Loyola, so I work in the athletic department part-time. So I think our paths have crossed a couple of times. I worked the alumni game.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I know that whole staff, so Teddy and and everyone in there. So
it's just an unbelievable place with such great people, but that's too funny.
Yeah, small world. But kind of moving on to the pro side of things, Taryn, you ended up getting drafted by the Long Island Sound in what was the UWLX and helped them capture the first championship ever for that league. What was it like kind of being a part of that first professional women's lacrosse league and championship team? And how do you think that league really paved the way for professional lacrosse for women?
Yeah, I think that league just gave us a start to a platform. It wasn't a whole lot going into the background of it, the promoting or anything like that, but it did give us, a game and a time and to get out on the field and actually showcase our skills. Obviously, as we've moved forward into the WPLL, it's grown immensely. And I mean, working in a partnership with the PLL helps us, but just the difference between that semi-pro and the UWLX and the WPLL now is worlds of difference.
It's great to kind of see, where it's grown, and it's only, not that many years. I mean, it started 2016 was the UWLX, and now here we are in 2020. WPLL is about to start its third season, so it's pretty awesome. And you've been a part of 3 of those 4 championships. You were a part of the 2 with the Long Island Sound in the UWLX, and then one with the Command in the first season of the WPLL. What was it like, winning 3 championships in a row?
It was pretty awesome. I mean, coming out of college, it was obviously there wasn't pro lacrosse before then, and it had just started, so it was a first for everybody. But then continuing the next summer as well, grabbing that trophy again, and then in the whole new league, I think we were pretty much the underdogs coming through for that whole summer, and to finally have that trophy and kind of make a statement was awesome.
For sure, that's great. And so we just had the news recently that the WPLL is unfortunately, losing a team in the fire, but that's actually a gain for you guys as sisters because, Taylor, you will be moving to the WPLL Command, and you guys will get to play together. I know this was your first time playing together was in Japan this past season. We'll talk about that a little bit after, but how excited are you guys to play professionally together?
I was so excited. I texted her right away, literally jumping for joy. Yeah, I mean, the last time Taylor and I actually saw a field together, other than the exhibition game in Japan, was in 2010 when I was a senior in high school and she was a 7th grader playing varsity. So we've come a long way, which is super exciting for the both of us.
Yeah, no, that's great. I guess going off of that a little bit too, you guys, played each other last season. Against each other, with the Fire versus the Command. How was it playing against each other? And now, kind of, what was that experience like having, kind of followed each other's footsteps at Loyola and then you got to face each other in the WPLL?
I just think that it was incredible to actually compete against each other at the highest level right now for women's lacrosse. My whole life, I've always been kind of following in Taryn's footsteps in a way and watching her and learning from her, and to be able to step on the field and play against her, it was an incredible feeling, and it just excites me to now be able to be on the same team with her for an entire summer.
That's awesome. And you guys got a taste of that when you and a crew of the WPLL pros headed over to Japan this past summer. So talk about that experience a little bit. What was that experience like going abroad and going to Japan and playing the game?
When we first found out, we were super excited, not only to get to Japan and be fortunate enough that the WPLL sent us, but obviously the both of us going together. Yeah. I think it was a really fun experience for the two of us. I definitely feel like there was so many connections on the field without kind of having to try or make those. I mean, you call them sister connections or whatever, but I think it was pretty effortless just because our style of play is so similar. And I think we read each other really well in the short amount of time we were there.
Yeah, I think that having that opportunity to travel together, not just only for lacrosse, but in a life aspect, was really cool. Being so far in age, almost 6 years apart, we didn't get to go to college together. She was in college when I was in high school, so we haven't been able to really take trips like that. So I think as a sister aspect, it was really cool for us to get to take that trip.
Yeah, no, that sounds like it was an incredible trip. It's great that the WPL is really trying to grow the game out there, and we appreciated you, Taylor, kind of giving, our viewers and listeners kind of an inside look doing the Instagram takeover that one day. That sunset that you guys saw in Japan looked amazing, so we appreciate you doing that.
Of course. That was no problem.
And then going off of that, I do want to talk about, we are on the international theme a little bit. Taryn, what was it like playing, on the USA team in 2014 through 2017?
I mean, I think that's the highest honor you can talk about when you look at USA across your chest. It's pretty humbling. But really, it was just the competition. Like getting to compete against the best of the best day in and day out through training camps and stuff like that was unbelievable. You meet unbelievable people. They're all competitors and people you've played against in college. And then to be on the same team finally, it's really cool. And I think the WPLL now gives us a very similar experience.
That's great. Do you think, Taylor, you might get the chance to play kind of going forward potentially with Team USA and Taryn as well? Do you think it's a goal to make it on the squad together for the 2021 games that'll be here in Baltimore?
It's always something in the back of your head.
Yeah.
If the opportunity presents itself, I'm sure we both would jump on it.
And then going off of that a little bit too, we mentioned the coaching. We mentioned your guys' relationships with Dana Dobbie and Jen Adams. You both got into coaching after college, with you, Taryn, going to Rutgers for a year, and then 3 years at Florida, where you are currently. And then Taylor, you are at UConn right now. What kind of influenced you guys to both get into coaching? Was that kind of just a natural progression, or was there a specific moment when you're like, oh, this is something that I maybe want to do?
I think it was a mix of both. I would say a little bit of a progression just due to the fact that Jen and Dana ran their own company, Seven, and then Maximum Exposure, and we did a lot of camps and clinics working for them through college and through summer. But then for me, it was more of I didn't want to give up the game yet. I think that was the best way for me to stay in it and stay relevant in it and continue to grow with it was to coach. And I just saw the impact that my coaches had on me and the potential that I could have that on someone else or multiple kids was really enticing.
Yeah, I think similar for me in that aspect of like the experience that I had at Loyola was so incredible. I'll never forget that. I want to be able to make that happen for the next generation of lacrosse players.
And I'd be remiss to not talk about that final regular season matchup against Florida versus UConn in that big American Athletic Conference game. How excited are you guys go kind of head-to-head against one another, and what's the banter leading up to that game going to look like?
My mom will probably have UConn gear on, to be honest. She always seems to side with Taylor.
No, I think it's going to be great. I mean, we have gone from like Taryn coaching and me being on the field against each other, to us being able to play together in Japan, and now coaching against each other. It's going to be a first. So I'm really excited to be on the sideline with her, although I'll be against her.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to that. No, that's awesome. It's funny too that it's the final matchup of the season for both of your team. Big conference game, so I'm sure there'll be a lot riding on it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's pretty awesome that Taylor and I have gone through so many phases of. I want to say we played together in 2010 when I was a senior and she was in 7th grade. Then I coached her through college on a club team. I mean, it's just been crazy to see us grow in so many different worlds that we've actually played parts in, and now to finally be back on the same team and actually getting to compete with each other and instead of against each other. I mean, the rivalry of college lacrosse and us coaching is great, but I'm really excited to get back on the field with her.
Yeah, no, and I guess my final question before we take a quick break is what excites you the most about this WPLL Season 3? Obviously getting the chance to play with each other is great, but what are you really looking forward to the most this summer?
Competing. I mean, giving a platform that the younger generation sees. I think it's tough that we do lose a team, but I think we gain so much more in the competition aspect of kind of that smaller roster feel. So I think it's going to be a really, really exciting Season 3. There's a whole lot of talent within the WPLL, and I think it'll be another year to showcase that.
No, for sure. What about you, Taylor?
Yeah, I think for me, similar concept in that, but also coming from Team Fire this past summer and making all new friends and teammates and relationships, and now coming into the Command, like I'm so excited to be able to play with a whole another group of athletes and learn from them to help up my game.
No, yeah, that's awesome, and we're looking forward to watching you guys on hopefully ESPN3 again. And the championship too was on ESPNU, was phenomenal, and it was a great game that me and Adam both definitely enjoyed. We're gonna try to get there in person though this year, I think.
Good.
Yeah. But that wraps up our main questions. We're gonna take a quick break, hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll go into our 5 and 5 segment. Hey everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of the Pro Lacrosse Talk podcast. We've been using Anchor for our podcast since the very start. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, and better yet, it's free. They allow you to easily record and edit your podcast so it sounds great and send it out to all the major networks such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and many more. Better yet, they connect you with advertisers so you can start making money from your podcast right away. So if you're interested in starting a podcast, download the Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Today's show is being brought to you in part by Stitcher Premium. You can use Stitcher Premium to listen to shows ad-free such as Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, My Favorite Murder, Wolverine the Lost Trail, or our favorite, The Fantasy Footballers. For only $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year, you get access to Stitcher Originals, bonus episodes, and comedy albums. Better yet, if you go over to Stitcher.com/premium and use the promo code lacrosse today, you can get 1 month free. So head on over to Stitcher, sign up, and get your free trial today. All right, so welcome back. Now let's dive into our 5 and 5. I'll start off with the lacrosse questions, and then Adam, you can continue with off-the-field questions. Taryn, we'll have you go first for each answer. Taylor, you can follow. But the first one I got to ask you guys is, what are some top songs on your game day playlist or workout playlist?
Oh, gosh. I'm so bad with music. I mean, Mood Booster is my number one playlist on Spotify.
Oh, I'll go.
So Taylor's the music. Taylor loves music.
There we go.
No, I like a good pump up. Right now I'm kind of into like the Dance Monkey, like a little bit of that kind of upbeat type things, but also the Lizzo album is like my go-to, like get on the treadmill and go. But yeah, normally those songs that are like getting you like happy feet, happy mood.
That's awesome. Number 2, who was your guys' favorite lacrosse player growing up?
Yep, Jen. My first camp was actually a camp that one of Jen's very first camps that she ever ran. I was in 7th grade, and I actually have a poster still to this day signed by the Josev. So, you know, she was my idol, and then I got the chance to play for her, and now she's a really good friend of mine. It's kind of funny how it circled back.
Yeah, Jen. So actually, Taryn had that poster, and when Taryn got into high school, I stole that poster. And so we still do have that poster, but yeah, Jen is still an incredible lacrosse player and inspiration to all of us.
That's awesome. My wife played in college as well, and she has that exact same poster signed. So I'm pretty sure if you are in anywhere under the age of like 40, you probably have a signed poster with Jen Adams with the famous hairdo up and all that. So for sure.
Yep.
That's great. And going off of that, sticking with kind of like the lacrosse people in the lacrosse community. Who's your favorite lacrosse personality kind of on social media right now? It can be from the women's game, the guys' game. Doesn't have to be pro, can kind of just be anybody. But yeah, who's kind of your favorite person to follow on social media in the lacrosse space?
From the lacrosse world right now, mine would be former teammate Molly Wolf. I think she just brings a lot of spunk to her posts, and her follower base is phenomenal. They love her, and I think that's the coolest thing ever.
I had a feeling she might be on people's list.
Yeah, I would say the combo of Molly Wolf and Alex Oss together, they have like a great friend relationship, and they're just so funny together, always bringing in the jokes but giving good advice to the younger generation.
Yeah, no, for sure. The Live Like a Pro series you guys did this past summer was great. I think it was very authentic, which I liked. You know, it kind of just gave you guys free range to kind of talk about your lives, and I think that's what we need more of, not just in lacrosse, but in sports in general. Is just seeing And that's what one of the great things social media has been able to do is kind of, allow you guys to showcase what you guys do on the field and off the field as well. So I think the WPLL killed it with that in that regard.
Yeah, I think Alex is going to be the next TikTok superstar too. It seems like her and Marcus are doing those. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. She's got it down. I don't really get it. I always thought TikTok was kind of like Vine reincarnated, but apparently it's nothing like that. So I don't know. My younger siblings are on it, but I need to kind of get more in the know about that.
I probably should too, but I'm going to stay out of it for right now.
I'm a little behind on the TikToks, yeah.
And then number 4, what is your guys' current lacrosse stick setup in terms of shaft, head, and stringing?
Right now, I've been playing with STX. At Florida, we're sponsored by STX, so it's a pretty easy stick to pick up. I enjoy it. I've been playing with the Exalt and the Exalt shaft. It's just a great stick that I can actually utilize off the draw as well, and not just on either end of the field.
Awesome.
So I'm actually sponsored by String King. So sponsored or not, I love their product. I've been using the Mark II Offense. As well as the Metal 3 Pro shaft. The Metal 3 Pro shaft is actually a men's shaft that I've been using, so it's a little bit thicker, but it's still the same length as a typical women's stick. But it has a great hold, and really love using it.
Awesome. String King really does a good job with their content that they put out too. Matt Gibson ought to get you on the podcast at some point. I'm sure you're probably on his radar, but he does a good job with the no angle.
He's awesome.
Yeah. And then number 5 with the lacrosse questions. What has been your favorite venue to play lacrosse at?
Ooh, I think last year, just because of the atmosphere, opening up at Gillette was awesome. It was a mix of us and the PLL, and it was just, when you talk about world lacrosse, like big lacrosse, that was the stage to do it on, and I thought it was a really cool experience.
For me, my favorite venue would be up at Mount Ridley at Loyola. It's obviously just graduating. Just last season I was playing on it, but then in the Pro League we had the opportunity to have a game back on the home turf, and I actually played against the Pride where Molly Wolf was in goal. So it was kind of an awesome setup to be back with the Hounds, kind of back in that safe space of home.
Yeah, I think we had a group of like 10 people at the end of that to then take a photo in PLL uniforms. So it was pretty cool to have everyone back home.
Yeah, no, I think they'll have to get that Loyola on the schedule again this season, because I know last season it was kind of last minute change, I believe.
It was a reschedule that they had.
It helps when the commish also almost runs Ridley, right?
I think she had a little pull there.
Yeah, I think so.
For sure.
First one for off the field. What are some hobbies or activities you like to do while you're not on the lacrosse field?
So I've been getting into some podcasts, more so kind of mental, sport related. Other than that, I'm still playing a ton of different sports. I play basketball, I play flag football, I play beach volleyball, all against the college kids in the intramural league. So kind of keeps me busy and I'm still in shape without having to run myself to the ground.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think just like Taryn said, just trying out all the different sports. I love basketball. I always, when I don't have a lacrosse stick in my hand, I'm shooting hoops. That's something for me that I really enjoy doing, as well as like going to the beach in the summer, all that good stuff, getting in the warm weather.
You must have some good competition up at UConn playing basketball up there occasionally.
Yeah, I don't think I'm allowed on that court.
That's awesome. All right, number 2. Who is a non-lacrosse athlete that you think would excel on the lacrosse field?
A non-lacrosse athlete. All right, so every summer I've worked a camp with Julie Foudy for the past 5 summers, and she has crushed her stick tricks every time she's picked up the stick. So And she's also in better shape than I am. She outruns me every morning. So I think she could get up and down the field, and I think she could do a few crazy things. But it'd also be fun to see.
Absolutely.
I think if we put Rhonda Say in goal, her reflexes would be unbelievable. So that would be my pick.
There you go. Awesome. All right, number 3. This might be the same answer, or it could be separate. A favorite place to go on vacation?
Oh, it's tough now not living at home that sometimes getting home might be my favorite vacation. But honestly, I don't know if I could name a certain place, but it's the people. It's either getting back to see the hounds or going to visit my mom and family. I think it's those people that make it the best.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Taryn and I have both traveled a lot, whether that be outside the country or just in different areas. We don't really get a chance to see each other that often. So I definitely say when we are together, that's always a great little vacation.
Nice. Okay. And number 4, from a food side of things, what's your favorite meal, and do you prefer to dine out, take out, or cook at home?
I'm not really a chef, so I prefer to dine out.
There we go.
But my favorite meal, and you can judge me for this, but growing up in upstate New York, I'm going to have to go with the garbage plate. The Zweigel's hot dogs are by far the best hot dogs I've ever had, hands down. I used to have my mom send them to me in college. But all that messy stuff on a plate, I'd go for it any day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I would say that I'm more of a cook at home if I have the time to do it. I do love to do that. I think it's like a little bit relaxing, and you get a reward of great food. And then my favorite meal, it's hard to say because I am such a sugar fiend that I would probably choose like a lava cake with vanilla ice cream.
Okay, if I had to pick my favorite meal that Taylor makes, because she is a fiend when it comes to sugar, it would probably be crepes. I think we sat down at home every Saturday with crepes on the table, Nutella, strawberries, whipped cream, and I think the two of us would finish an entire batch before my mom even sat down to have one.
That's great. Crepes are very underrated. My buddy just opened up a crepe store, and I tell you, there's nothing like a good dessert crepe, like with a scoop of ice cream.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
they're so good.
It's making me hungry now.
Yeah, I know.
Awesome.
Taylor's probably going to whip some up.
Oh, you know it.
There we go. That's awesome. And then our last one for off-the-field questions. Taryn, you talked about this a little bit already, but what's a book or podcast that you're currently reading or listening to that you'd recommend to a teammate or friend?
Right now, I'm about to start the Kobe Mamba Mentality. I actually haven't taken a dive into it yet, but I think I'm super excited about it. Obviously, a huge figure when it comes to mentality and just the culture of sport and being a good person. And I think, obviously, we've seen a lot in these last few weeks about him, but I know it's going to be a great read.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the book I would recommend is The Girls of Summer. It's actually a book that when I was home over winter break, it was in my sister's room, and I grabbed it, snagged it, and I've been reading it. It's about the U.S. women's soccer team. It's just a good read about the World Cup and how they essentially changed the game of women's soccer.
Taylor, did you put that book back? I'm pretty sure I saw it there last time.
No, I
haven't stealing my book.
That's great. Well, that kind of wraps up our 5 and 5. We'd like to end on one final question, and that's, kind of for our young athletes out there that might be listening. What is some advice that you have for a young player looking to one day play lacrosse professionally?
Follow your dream. Don't give up. It's a sport that you can grow in. Some people get good at it really young, and some people don't develop to a later age. I think it's one you can always continuously work on, but don't put down the stick.
Yeah, I would just say looking at where Taryn and I came from in the small town, lacrosse wasn't even really a thing. Just branching out and really building those relationships to keep getting you where you are. I don't think Taryn and I would have gotten this far without the great people that we are surrounded by. So actually listening and taking in all the advice that you receive will really help.
No, I think that's some great advice, definitely for some young ladies out there that, want to maybe follow your guys' footsteps and play in college and play professionally. So we appreciate that advice. Remind people where they can find you on social media.
Oh, gosh, I think my Instagram handle is @TarynVan.
My Instagram handle is @TaylorVanThof.
Awesome. And we'll be sure to share those two in the show notes. But thank you guys so much for coming on. Again, it was exciting to have our first pair of sisters on the podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Congrats on, a terrific WPLL season last season. And, even more congratulations to being, on the same team for this season. And we're looking forward to watching you guys play this summer.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
Today's show is being brought to you in part by Stitcher Premium. You can use Stitcher Premium to listen to shows ad-free such as Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, My Favorite Murder, Wolverine the Lost Trail, or our favorite, The Fantasy Footballers. For only $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year, you get access to Stitcher Originals, bonus episodes, and comedy albums. Better yet, if you go over to Stitcher.com/premium and use the promo code Lacrosse today, you can get 1 month free. So head on over to Stitcher, sign up, and get your free trial today.